Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about how to easily download and install the Visual Studio 2022 on your Windows operating system. Especially, I want to talk about the requirements for installing the Visual Studio 2022. So let's get it started. If I open up the Google and search the Visual Studio 2022 requirements, then I have all of this information and the links available in the Google. At the top, I have the docs.microsoft.com. This is the official website of the Microsoft. Also, I have some other quick tips and tricks about the requirements over here, and you can see the hardware requirements or other links. Now, let's get started working with the first one, Visual Studio 2022 system requirements, and get inside the Microsoft official website. As you see, the Visual Studio 2022 or the Visual Studio 2022 has three main versions: the Enterprise, the Professional, and the Community. Later, I'll talk about how to install the Visual Studio Community Edition, so don't worry about anything. And also, we have two main types of the requirements for installing the Visual Studio on the Windows, and it is the supported operating system and also the hardware requirements. As you see over here, we can download and install the Visual Studio 2022 on all of these operating systems. The first one is the Windows 11 and this version. Also the Home Pro, Pro Education, Pro up to the end version. Then I have the Windows 10 version 1909 or higher, including the Home Professional up to the end. Also I have the Windows Server 2022, then the Windows Server 2019, Windows Server 2016. So I can easily install the Visual Studio 2022 on all of these operating systems. And don't forget, we have the notes over here, and it is the list of unsupported operating system. The Windows 11 Home in the S mode, and the 32-bit and ARM operating systems up to the end. You know what? We don't need to memorize all of this, and we can easily get access to this list by quick searching in the Google. So don't memorize all of this, and I want to talk about this for your deeper understanding and better result. Now if I scroll down, I have the hardware list, and at the top I have the CPU specification, and it is 1.8 GHz or faster, and the 64-bit processor, something like the quad core or better. And if I take a look at the taskbar, right click over here and come to the task manager and come to the performance, and here I have the CPU or central processor unit. Currently I have the octa-core CPU, and this is the speed of my CPU. And after that, we need to get access to the next properties, and it is the minimum memory or the RAM. So if I take a look, the minimum of 4 GB of RAM is required, and also the recommended memory or the RAM is 16 GB for better results and to increase the performance. So if I take a look at the task manager, and this is the memory, you can see it is up to 16 GB, and it is the DDR and DDR3 indeed. So it is great and amazing for working with the Visual Studio 2022. Then I have the next one, and it is the hard disk space. You know what, if you want to work with the Visual Studio, it's a really great idea using the SSD hard drive because of the increasement in the performance. And as you know, the speed of the SSD hard drives are really amazing and great. So if you want to increase the performance of the Visual Studio, don't hesitate to use the SSD hard drive. Also, you can use the HDD hard drives, but the performance will be reduced. So the minimum required space is about 1 GB up to 210 GB. Wow, it's really great and amazing. 210 GB. But it's not necessary to use this number. Why? Because the size of the Visual Studio or the required size depends on the features that you want to install during the installation of the Visual Studio. So the typical installation requires between 20 up to 50 GB of the free space on your hard disk drive. And don't forget to use the SSD. Then we need to use the appropriate video card drive or the display drive. And the resolution or the minimum resolution indeed is 1366 by 568. And the best resolution for working with the Visual Studio is the Full HD resolution. And it is about 1920 in the 1080 or the Full HD. Then you can start working with it easily and quickly. Also, we need to consider all the matters that is not important matter. Okay, excellent. Congratulations. I enjoyed it a lot. Now we learned the most common requirements of the Visual Studio for installing on the Windows drive. But what is the next step? In the next step, I want to show you how to download and install the Visual Studio, but it needs a lot of time. So stay with me with the next part of the video tutorial. Thanks for your time. Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about how to easily download and install the Visual Studio 2022 on the Windows 10. So let's get started. First, I talked about the system requirements of the Visual Studio 2022. In this video, it's time to talk about how we can download and install it. So if I open up the Google and search the Visual Studio 2022, then I have the visualstudio.microsoft.com. This is the official website of the Visual Studio. So if I click on that and get inside the web page. In this web page, we can get access to the latest versions of the Visual Studio and anything that we need to work with it. So currently I have something like this interface or the design for the Visual Studio. Maybe in the future you can see another web page. So don't worry about anything and just click on the, for instance, free Visual Studio or download the Visual Studio. Also, I have the Visual Studio 2022 over here. And if I take a look at the links over here, I have the download Visual Studio button. And if I hover on that, I have 3 different versions of the Visual Studio: the community, the professional, and the enterprise. So the first one is the community edition, and it is great for the personal usages, and also it is completely free. And currently I want to work with the Visual Studio only for the tutorial or the education, so I can easily and freely get started working with it. And the next version is the professional. So if you have a little money and you want to work with the Visual Studio, so the professional is great for you. And if you want to spend a lot of money and you have the enterprise or the business, this is great for you, the enterprise edition. As I told you, I'm the teacher or the instructor here, so I don't want to spend any money and the community is great for you. So let's click on this easily and quickly. After a couple of seconds, everything will be downloaded automatically. So my download is done and I can get access to my downloaded file over here. And you can see the VS community up to the end. Okay, excellent, congratulations. Now my file is ready to be installed. It's time consuming, so stay with me. Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about how to download the Visual Studio 2022 on your Windows 10. So let's get started. First, I talked about how to download the Visual Studio installation file. Now this is, and its version is the community, as I told you. So if I click on that, after a couple of seconds, I have this window. So before installing it, don't hesitate to watch the Microsoft license agreement. Then you can see more information about the privacy and something like that over here. After reading this, you can come to the continue and click on it. So you need to be patient for downloading the required files of the Visual Studio installation. Let's be patient. After a couple of seconds, up to, for instance, 1 minute, I have the main interface of the installation. So this is the new window and you can close this, for instance. So in this window, you can see the currently installed Visual Studio over here. As you see over here, I have installed the older version 2017, also 2019 on my current Windows. So if you want to install the new version, you can easily do it. Come to the available. Then the Visual Studio Community 2022 and click on the install. So this is, and let's be patient. And this is the same window like the starting one. In this window, I can manage which features I want to install on my Visual Studio. So I have same tabs over here, the workloads, individual components, language packs, and installation locations. Let's talk about the first one, the workloads. The workload indeed is the group of features or the features by the group that you want to install for your Visual Studio. Over here, I have the different technologies that are available and I can easily click and install all of these one by one. So if I take a look at the first one, it is the ASP.NET and web development. If you want to create the website using the ASP.NET technology or the JavaScript or the HTML, this is great for you. You can easily click on that. So this is. And based on your selection, we have some other features that are dedicated for this workload or this selection. Also, you can expand or collapse that. And at the top, I have the Visual Studio Core Editor. Indeed, these are automatically selected and include everything that is needed for running the Visual Studio itself. And this feature is common or the default features that should be installed at your computer, and you can change it. But you can change the features of the ASP.NET, for instance, to be installed or not. And also, if you want to work with the C# or the Visual Studio or the F# or with the .NET or the .NET framework for creating the WPF, Windows Form, and the console application, don't hesitate to click on this checkbox. So after clicking on that, I have the .NET Desktop Development and all of the features inside it. If I take a look, yes, this is the .NET Desktop Development, and all of these are available for you. Also, you can customize one of these options. For instance, select this or unselect this. It's not important matter. So personally, I prefer to leave all of this by default. And if I collapse that, so up to here, I have the Visual Studio Core Editor, the ASP.NET for creating the website, and the .NET Development for working with the C# with .NET WPF, and the .NET Technology for creating the desktop applications or the Windows Form and also the console applications. You can see the appropriate and required information over here under the title. And also, if you want to work with the mobile application and develop the application for the mobile using the Xamarin. And based on these selections, we have the total space required over here. And also, if you want to develop the application for the smartphone or the mobile applications, then you can select this checkbox. Then you can create the applications for the iOS, the Android, and the Windows using the Xamarin technology. So I have the appropriate over here, the mobile development with .NET, and all of this available for creating the mobile or the smartphone applications. And also my total space is changed up to 11 gigabyte. Then if you want to work with the Python, you can easily select this. If you want to work with the Python in the Visual Studio. Also, if you want to work with the Node.js, select this. And indeed, all of these are available separately and individually for the Visual Studio. You can add or remove these features one by one into your Visual Studio. And also, if you want to work with the Universal Windows Platform, then check this checkbox. Or if you want to work with the C++ for creating the desktop applications for the Windows. So you can select this one and check this checkbox, for instance, and the space is added also over here. Then if you want to develop the application for the mobile using the C++, don't hesitate to check this checkbox. And also, if you want to create and develop the game using the C++ for working with the Unreal Engine or the DirectX directly, something like creating the game engines, then check this checkbox. And also, if you want to work with the Unity, don't hesitate to check this checkbox. And after that, if I take a look, I have all of these options. And finally, if you want to develop the application for the Linux using the C++, don't hesitate to click on this checkbox, something like this. Now, if I take a look at the results over here, I have all of this. At the top, I have the common features, and it is the kernel or the common features of the Visual Studio itself. Then based on my selections, I have the ASP.NET, .NET Desktop, mobile desktop development, mobile development with the C++, game with the C++, game with the Unity, and also the Linux. Then based on these selections, I need up to 25 gigabytes of the free space on my hard drive. So let's come over here and let's uncheck the unused checkboxes. The first one is the Linux. I don't want to work with it. And also if I scroll up, the game with the C++, I don't want to work with it. And also the Unity. And don't forget the simple question. Is it necessary to check all of this? No, never. And you need to select this based on your need. And I quickly talked about the required features and the applications over here. And also I don't want to develop the mobile application using the C++ and uncheck this one. So until here, I have the Visual Studio ASP.NET for creating the web applications using the ASP.NET, the .NET, and it is the desktop application using the C# web.NET, and the mobile using the Xamarin, for instance, or the iOS applications using the C# and the appropriate technologies. And finally, the desktop application using the C++. And as I told you, you can uncheck or check these options based on your needs. So if you want to only work with the ASP.NET, check only this one. And if you want to work with the C# and web.NET, only you need to select this. And also if you want to work with the mobile applications, don't hesitate to check this. And finally, for working with the C++, you need only this one. But personally, I prefer to install all of this because I need this version of the Visual Studio in the different courses. So I have another option, and the default location is available over here. You can change it, or it's better to leave it by default. Also, I have two other options: install while downloading or download all then install. It's completely obvious. If you want to download all of these files, then install. So download all, then install. And if you want to download one part, then install it and continue until the end. Select install while downloading. Personally, I prefer to use the download all, then install. And this is. And also, what about another options over here? If I take a look at the individual components, these are the components that are selected based on your selection over here in the workload. So if I take a look at that, for instance, the .NET, all of these are selected based on my selections in the workload or these options. And also you can see all the features and the tools. Also, you can check or uncheck one of these options if you need to customize these features. But personally, I leave this by default because the default is really great. Then I have the language pack, and you can easily change the language of the Visual Studio installation. By default, it is English. You can change it based on your needs and language. And finally, I have the installation location. So you can change the default location of the Visual Studio installation, including the Visual Studio IDE. So it is by default over here and will be installed inside this. And you can see something like this. And my drive C is my Windows drive. Then the program files, Microsoft Visual Studio version, and the community. Then I have the download cache, and every downloaded file will be copied over here. So we need it later for upgrading or for editing the installation. I strongly recommend you don't change this one or even this, and leave all of this by default. Also, I have a really great checkbox over here: keep download cache after the installation. Indeed, the Visual Studio will download the required file based on your selection over here. Then save it inside this location. So if you want to keep these files, don't hesitate to check this one after installation. And if you uncheck this, every file after installing of the Visual Studio will be deleted, and it's not really great idea because sometimes we need to update or upgrade or change the installation features. Then we need to download all of these files from scratch. So for preventing any unexpected errors in the future, I strongly recommend you to check this checkbox and keep your files safe in the cache folder. So I have all of this information over here and also the total required space, and everything is ready for me. Now it's time to install it. So come over here and click on the install. And based on this selection, first all of my files should be downloaded, then the install will be started. So let's click on the install. Okay, excellent. Now my download is started and I need up to 4 GB of the files that should be downloaded. And it needs a lot of time, so we need to be patient. And as I mentioned previously, under this one, I can see all the versions, and it is the Visual Studio 2017 and 2019. That's all of these are currently installed on my Windows 10. So this is the new version and it needs a lot of time, and the only thing we need is patience. So stay with me. Welcome back. Now everything is downloaded automatically and you can see the checkbox over here, and also the packages or the features are installing one by one, up to 608 features that should be installed. So installing all of these is really time consuming, and the only thing we need is patience, patience, and patience. So stay with me. Welcome back. Congratulations, the installation is done successfully. Now it's time to see the miracle. So come over here and click on the OK. As you see over here, I have installed the Visual Studio Community 2022, and also I have some other buttons over here. So if I click on the launch, then the Visual Studio will be executed. But as I mentioned, don't forget to restart your computer and your Windows before launching or running the Visual Studio 2022. Also, I have the more button over here. Click on that, and here I have the repair. If you want to repair some files on your Visual Studio installation, then this is great for you. And also if you want to uninstall the Visual Studio or remove it completely from your Windows, then click on the uninstall. Also I have other options that currently we don't need to work with them. Also I have the modify button over here. If you want to add or remove some features to the Visual Studio installation, then don't forget to click on this button, the modify. And the same window is available over here as I mentioned during the installation of the Visual Studio. You can easily add or remove some features, then click on the modify and everything will be updated based on your changes. So come over here and close this one because I don't want to edit anything in my Visual Studio. Now let's come over here and close this one and also come to this and search the Visual Studio. So I have the Visual Studio 2022, right click on this and pin to start, and also I can right click over here and pin to the taskbar. Also you can get access to the uninstall from here, the uninstall. So let's pin to the taskbar. Now I have the Visual Studio, the newer version over here, and put it beside the 2019 over here exactly. So 2017, 2019 and 2022. Also as I mentioned, you can come to this and write the Visual Studio. So this is the newer version, right click on that and click on the uninstall and let's see the result. So come over here and come to the Visual Studio. Where are you, Visual Studio? Also you can write the Visual Studio over here and let's try my chance and let's see the result. So I have the Visual Studio, the newer version, and click on that. So the same window over here to uninstall, remove, or anything that you want. Now let's be patient and let's cancel this and close this one. Also you can click on the change and the uninstall. Let's see the results. So I have the Visual Studio over here, the 2022, and also if I click on the start, then I have the new version of the Visual Studio. Congratulations, we did it. Now everything is ready for me to get started working with the Visual Studio 2022. But don't forget, this tutorial is based on the common features and the standard controls and features and codes of the Visual Studio using the different technologies. So you can follow my tutorials with the older version of the Visual Studio, something like the Visual Studio 2017 or 2019. And don't forget, the version of the Visual Studio is not important matter. The only thing is important is your proficiency, is your effort, and is your eager to create your own world with the Visual Studio and the different technologies. It's really important and tricky, not. With the best wishes. Thanks for your time. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the VB.NET for creating the first application. So let's begin. Come over here and open up the Visual Studio. My current version is 2022, but you can use the older version, something like the Visual Studio 2019 or the newer versions. Why? Because this is the simple project and the version of the Visual Studio is not important matter. In this window, I can select my current and available project from here, or I want to create the new project. So I have two options: create the new project directly, continue without code. So if I click on the create new project, in this window, I need to select the project type, and I can easily select the project type and create it. But my favorite one is continue without code and directly jump inside the Visual Studio. This is the Visual Studio environment, or we call it IDE, Integrated Developer Environment. So you can create the different project inside the same environment or IDE. Now let's come over here and come to the file and new, then the project and the same window. In this window, I need to select the project type. I want to work with the Visual Basic, so you can select the Visual Basic over here. I want to create the application for the Windows, so inside the platform, select the Windows. And finally, I want to create the project for the desktop computers. So this is the desktop computer. And in the next step, I have the Windows Form app with the .NET Core or .NET. Indeed, I want to work with the Visual Basic to create the Windows application for the desktop users. This is the most up-to-date version. If I scroll down, I can see the older version, and it is over here, Windows Form by the .NET Framework technology. The .NET Framework is older version, and you can work with it. But personally, I prefer to use the newer version because of supporting directly by the Microsoft. And based on the Microsoft announcement, they don't want to update the .NET Framework anymore. So if I take a look over here, this is the most up-to-date version, and it is the .NET Core or .NET technology for creating the desktop application. Come to the next. In this window, I need to select the project name. You can use anything that you want. I use my first app with the VB. Also, I can change the location or like me, leave it by default. Then I have the solution. What is the solution? The solution is something like the folder that we can add one or more projects inside it. By default, we need to select the solution name because each project should be inside the dedicated solution. It's really simple and straightforward. As the result, let's write SN or solution name or anything that you want. Do you want to place the solution in the project inside the same directory? No, I don't want to do that. So I want to separate the solution folder from the project folder. As the result, this is the final destination up to this. Now come to the next. Over here, I need to select the framework or engine of the application. We have different options. First, you can select the .NET 6 or the 7. Or in the future, the newer versions of the .NET versus the .NET 8, 9, or something like that. So let's select the newer version, and it is the .NET 7. And if I create, so it's really simple and it's everywhere. You know what? The .NET Core version is not important matter because I want to create the simple basic application. So this is the form, and I can easily resize it like this. Over here I have the solution, and you can see the solution over here, project inside it. Then I have the properties, and if I select the form, I can see the properties over here. For instance, I can easily come over here and change the color to something else, and if I come over here like this one, or even I can change to anything that I want. So this is the solution explorer, and let's close this, and also this one. Now I haven't anything over here. As the result, get inside the view. Then over here I have the solution explorer. You can see it over here, and this is the solution, and the next one inside it is my project. So you can see something like this. And also if I take a look inside the view, I have all the options like the toolbox. This is the toolbox, that is really important matter. And also the properties window. This is the properties window. I can start working with that. Now let's close this tab and get inside the solution explorer. Also, I have another options at the top, and you can see something like this up to here. So right click over here, and I have different options. For instance, the standard, the layout, and also the debug and the build. If you uncheck all of this, then you can add it over here. It means get inside the view, the toolbar, and select the layout, for instance, or the standard. So the standard toolbox is added over here, and I can select the layout. Over here I have the debug button. You can start working with it. So this is the debug. It means run the application first, then we can get inside the project and find the errors. So this is the result over here. And after that, if I take a look, you can come to the debug. Then I have the start debugging, or F5. And this is a really great and amazing part of the Visual Studio. And after that, I have the output folder over here. Then you can see the progress of building the application. So don't mix up yourself, because I'm going to talk about all of this for your deeper understanding. Now, if I come over here and right click inside the project and open folder in File Explorer like this. So this is the project folder. If I come to the next one, and it is the solution folder, you can see my first app, VBSN. So this is my first application solution folder. And after that, I have the SLN over here. This is the solution file. And the next one is the project file. Exactly like this, my first VB app. And also I can get access to all of these files over here. If I click on the show all, this is the show all files. Now I have more files, and you can see the bin, the object over here. So exactly over here, I have the form one, the project file, object, and bin. If I get inside the bin folder, the debug, then the .NET, and here I have some files, including the executable file. This is my project name. Exactly, you can see my first app VB, my first app VB.exe, or executable file. If you click on it, wow, what happened? I can run the application directly. It's really great and amazing. So if I take a look inside this one, and here I have the 3 files for the form 1. You can see form 1 designer, the ResX, and VB. The first one is the designer, or auto-generated file by the Visual Studio. And you can see them over here. Come to the form 1, and I have the form 1 designer and ResX. Also, if I take a look over here, I can select the window easily and quickly. Now I have the toolbox, and inside the toolbox I can get access to available toolbox. If you can't see anything over here, or if these are disabled, it's not important, man. Just come over here, select this, and also I can come over here and run it one more time, the form 1, save, and get inside the build and rebuild the project, or build it. Build means create the executable file. So rebuild, and rebuild means delete anything inside the bin folder and create the executable file from scratch. Now if I close all of this, and this one for instance, I can easily select the solution explorer, and move it anywhere that you want. For instance, over here, or even I can add at the bottom. You are completely free. So this is the solution that I added over here. And also this is auto hide, and you can auto hide automatically or make it visible. And select this, add it at the default location. Also, I have the toolbox. This is my toolbox, and I can auto hide this and move it anywhere that I want. For instance, over here, or even get inside this. And after that, I can easily move it anywhere that I want. Let's select this part and add it. So my toolbox is over here. And also I can select this and move it. For instance, I can move it over here beyond my solution explorer, exactly this one. Now I have access to the toolbox using this. So I can get inside the form one, and after that I can add the items to my window. In my upcoming tutorials I'll talk about this matter. And also if I take a look, come to the view and select the properties window, and it is over here. So the location and the size of the windows are customizable, and you can change it to anything that you want. And also you can close the application one more time and select the solution. You can see the solution over here. You can directly run it to run the application and the project. So this is the result after a couple of seconds. Everything will be loaded automatically, and I have the form one, and my window is loaded successfully. And also I can come over here and close this one more time and get inside the project folder, my first VB app. I can easily select the my first app.vb project. VB project means Visual Basic Project file. And also I can come over here, right click, open with the notepad. Never do something like this. It is a kind of the XML file, and all of these are available over here. Never change anything like this. For instance, I can delete all of them. If you edit anything inside the project folder, then you will lose the project entirely. So don't forget to close and don't save. Instead of that, double click on it and open it with the Visual Studio itself. So my project is loaded successfully, and I can get access to the toolbox from here and drag and drop the button. For instance, this is the button. The next one is checkbox, and also the label, the link label, or I can select the combo box. This is the combo box, and also I have the text box. These are the most common controls inside the VB.NET project. Now let's come over here, select the project and click the show all files. Then all of the visible files and folders are available over here, including the dependencies. You can see the dependencies over here, or the required files and the required codes, or the libraries. And don't worry about this because we don't need to memorize anything over here. I just want to show you the deeper understanding of the VB project. And you can see something like this over here, or inside the next one. All of these are the codes that we can use them for creating the application. Eventually, I'll talk about the most famous and most required of the frameworks one by one. So don't worry about anything. And I have the project, or the my project, and if you click on it, you can get access to the properties of the project itself. Later in my upcoming tutorial, I'll talk about the most useful properties of the application, so no worry. Well done. Now we learned how to create our first application and how to configure the IDE, or integrated developer environment. So open up your Visual Studio and create your first project. Thanks, and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the most common properties of the form. So let's begin. This is our project, and we are over here. At the beginning, let's select the form itself. Come to the properties over here. We have 2 options. At the first option, we're gonna sort the items by the category. So appearance, category, behavior, data, design up to the end. But my favorite one is the next one, alphabetical order. So all of these are sorted by the alphabetical order. I think this method is better. Now let's go over here, select the form, and I have the form one over here, and start working with that from button. At the first step, I have the text. Let's change it to something else, like first app. And after that, I have the start position. And what is the start position? Before running the application, we need to assign the location of the window. Currently, let's do it by default. And if I run, I can see the result. You know what? Same properties should be tested in the runtime. So this is the runtime. And you can see my application is running. So it was over here. But this is not really a great idea. And putting it at the center of a screen is better. Now let's go over here, and this is the design mode. In the design mode, I have access to some of these properties, not all of them. Now let's go over here, and this is the start position. Let's set it to the center screen. And if I run, I can see my form at the center of the display. So this is the center from this side or vertical. Now let's close this. Come to the next property. The next one is show in taskbar. Currently it is okay. So if I run application, I have the icon something like this over here. But currently the icon is the default one, and it is this one. And if I run the application, let's see the current icon of the application, and it is this one, the default icon in the taskbar. So if you don't want to show the icon over here, you can easily get inside the properties and show in taskbar, set it to false. Now if I run the application, I can see the icon over here. So let's set it to the true. Then I have the show icon, and this is the show icon. And if you want to show the icon in this icon, don't hesitate to select that like this. And if you want to show the icon, you can customize it. Currently, let's set it to true, and it's time to change it. Change it by the icon. This is the icon. So I can change it to the newer one. So let's select the icon and click over here. Then it's time to find it. So let's come over here and paste my icon folder here and press enter. Now I have two options, the background and also the icons. So you need to have the icons. As the result, you have two options. First, you can open up the iconfinder.com and write something over here. For instance, let's write save and press enter. After a couple of seconds, let's come over here and select the free because I don't want to buy anything, and select this one easily and quickly. It is free, as you see over here. So now I have something like this over here after clicking on the save button. So let's select the other and select the ICO because I want to add it as the icons. So the extension of this image should be ICO. And also you can get inside the PNG and download the PNG, but currently we don't need to use the PNG. Let's select the other and the ICO or icon and start downloading it. So I have the downloaded files over here. You can see the icon, save icon, and also memo icon. You can select one of these icons. So get inside the Visual Studio, and after that I have the icon, and let's do it one more time. Click over here, then inside the project, my VB Core, images, icons. Now I can get access to both of this. I can easily select the second one, and the extension is ICO, as you see, and click open. So the icon is added over here. Now if I run the application, I can see this one at the top, or you can change it to something else, for instance to this one. It looks better now. Now this is my icon and show icon. By default it is true, so I have the icon over here. Now if I run the application, I can see the great and amazing result. So as you see over here, I have the icon that is dedicated for this window. It's really great and amazing. And after this, I have the right to left layout. It's really simple and straightforward. Suppose you want to work with the right to left languages, something like the Arabic or Persian. Then this is great for your right to left. At the first step, select this, and then set the right to left to yes. So I have the items over here at the left side, and also my icon in the text is changed over here. And also if I come over here, let's set it back. As you see, the location of these are changing, and you can see the results over here. I want to work with the English language, so I don't need to use it. Right to left layout, set it to the fonts. Now I have the minimize box. I can easily get it from here or disable that. And also I have the maximize box. Now I haven't over here, not the maximize box nor the minimize box. Now I have only one button, and it is close button. So I have the control box over here. If you don't want this, you can easily come over here and set it to false. Now I haven't the close button over here, or you can add it like this. And in the next step, I have the, if I take a look, form border style. By default, it is sizable, so my user can change it or resize it. And if I take a look, I have the next one, the fix single, the fix 3D, and all of this. But the most common is sizable and also fix single. Now, if I run the application, my form will be locked. And if I take a look, as you see, I can't change the size of the form like this. So come over here and come to the next one. Now I have two other colors. If I take a look over here, the first one is the for color. So this is the text color indeed. If I change the text color, I have three options. First the system, then the web, then the custom. Let's select the system, and these colors belongs to the Windows itself. And if you change it, the color will be changed based on your current settings in your Windows. For instance, the desktop is this or this one. As you see, the color over here. But I prefer to use the web. So this is the web, and each color has the name. For instance, I can come over here and select the red. Now the X color of all of these change to the red. Indeed, the form is something like the parent, and these are children of the form. So if you change some properties like the color or the font for your form, then it will be applied to the children inside it. That's a really tricky note. And we have similar to this in the back color. So you can change it from this one, the system, or the web. My favorite one is white smoke, and this is my favorite one. You can use any color that you want from the web system or custom. Over here, you can select one of these colors or right click on the free space, and you can easily start creating your own customized color. So this is the result. Now let's come over here and set it to back, and this is, it looks better, but I prefer to use the white smoke, and this is the white smoke. Now let's select the font. As you see over here, I have the font. You can change it to anything that you want. For instance, let's increase the font size and click OK. Wow, what happened? My form is resized. You know what? If you change the font of your form, then the font of the children inside it will be changed. And also the size of form will be changed. For instance, if you select this, come to the properties of the font. Here, let's select the smaller one. And as you see, my form is rescaled and it is smaller than previous one. So how we can fix resizing of the form after changing the font? We have great and amazing property over here, and it is auto scale mode. By default, it is font. Let's set it to the none. Now, if I select this and change it up to here, for instance, come to the properties, select the font, and make it a little bit larger like this. As you see over here, only the controls inside the form get the new font property. And after that, let's select this, get inside the properties, and if I take a look, I have the control box. As I told you, also you can change the cursor. My favorite cursor is the hand, but we need to run the application to see the result. And after that, I have the background image. So I have the background image over here. I can easily come to this and change the background and assign the new picture for that. So let's come to this. You can easily use your own images, no worries and no problem. So let's select this one and come to OK. So it is like this and click OK. After changing it, we have the background image layout. By default, it is tile. So let's select the none, for instance, nothing happened, and the center, nothing, and stretch. So the image is changed to the stretch, and if I resize it, I can see the result. But in the stretch, the scale or the aspect ratio of the image is changed. But if I select the next and select the zoom, now I have some border at the top and over here. Why? Because the aspect ratio of form didn't change. Now let's come over here and set it to the stretch. You can set it to scratch, and the scratch is like this. Now we can delete the image easily. Come over here and clear, and this is the result. Or you can come to this one. Indeed, if I take a look, the back images, and then open this by the paint. Now I can select one of this one, for instance, from here up to this one, copy and create the new one and paste it over here. Now it's time to save it. I can easily save it to the desktop, and this is the test. So click OK and close this. Now if I take a look over here inside the background image and come to resource and inside the desktop. So this is my desktop and the image. Now the result is a stretch, but if I take a look over here, I have the next one and come to this, set it to the tile like this. And if you change it, everything will be repeated after each other like this. Now let's size it up to here. And this is the power of the tile mode. Let's set it to the stretch. It looks amazing and better, but we need to change this image also because it hasn't the quality and it is a small size image. Go over here, and if I take a look, I can get inside the projects, the view core images and the background image. This is my favorite one easily and quickly. Also, let's change it up to here. Okay, well done. Now we learned more about the common properties of the form. So open up your project and start working with the common properties of the form. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the common properties of the button, the label, and also the text box. So let's do it. First, we talked about the common properties of the form. So we have something like this. Now let's select the background and come over here. And if I take a look, I have the background image. And let's delete that. And let's clear it from here easily and quickly. Now let's select everything on my form and start adding it one by one. I have the form one over here that is selected. Come to the toolbox, and inside the toolbox I have different categories. For instance, all Windows forms, common controls. If you take a look, then the next one, printing components up to the end. So let's talk about the first control, and if I take a look, it is the button. Drag and drop button over here. So this is the button. You know what? The button is really most famous control in the Windows form. So if I take a look over here, I have the other city. So you can see it over here. And this is, and escape that. Come over here and let's select this one easily and quick. You know what? The Audacity application is free to use. And I don't want to talk about how you can create something like this application. I want to show the real world examples of the controls. So if I take a look and let's select this part, come to the effect And after that, I have the, for instance, equalizer, and this is equalizer. I have the button over here, here, and also here. And in addition, we have the label over here, the label, the text box, and this is the label. So it's really practical. And also I have the button over here and here. In addition, we have the text or label over here, the next one. And if I take a look, I have the combo box. This is the combo box. So come over here and get inside the effect and select another versus change pitch. So I have the buttons at the top, two lines of the label, the combo box, and after that the label, then the text box over here, text box, and the label. So it's really famous between all programmers. So let's go to this. You can easily download the free version of the Audacity from the Google. Now, if I take a look, the text color of my button is red. And it is because of the red property over here. And also if I select the form, so let's change it to the black from here. So this is the black, and after that everything is done something like this. Now come to the common properties of the button. It's really simple. Just write, for instance, the save. This is the save. And also if I take a look, I have the right to left, so you can use for the right to left languages something like the Persian and the Arabic. After that, I have the fore color or the text color, so it is black. Then I have the font previously we talked about it, and the font to change the font up to this or make it bold like this one. And after that, if I take a look, I have the cursor. So the cursor is hand. It's really important matter to select the hand. It looks really great cursor. And after that, if I take a look, I have the back color, and you can select the back color. For instance, my favorite one is white smoke or the white. You are completely free. This is the light, and also I have all the colors, or you can select the custom colors, and this is my button. So currently the text is at the center horizontally and vertically. If I come to the properties over here, you can see the text. This is the text and text alignment. I can easily select this, go to the next one, and this, go to the top, and also the center horizontally and vertically. And after that, I can add the image. So if I take a look, I have the image over here. Click on it and come to the load. And over here, I have all of these icons. And also, if I take a look, I have the notepad icons. I can add something like the about or the help button. In addition, you can open up the iconfinder.com and search for anything that you want, then download it. But if you want to download it, it's a great idea to select the small image, something like the 32 pixels or the 24 pixels. You know what? The size of the image depends on your project and your customer. So come over here and come to this one. I have the image over here. Also, you can download the project files of this course and you can get access to all of the images. Let's select this and add it over here, and this is the result. But I have the image aligned and it is at the middle center. I can change it to something like this, to this one. Now I can resize it like this, and this is the result. Also get inside the text align. This is my text align, and set it to this one, and you can see it's something like this. So it looks great and amazing. I can easily copy that and paste it over here easily and quickly. So it is over here. Now come to the properties, and if I scroll down, I have another property, and it is text image relation. By default, it is overlay. So we have something like this, as I mentioned. And if I change it to something like this, for instance, image about text. So this is the image about text. And after that, get inside the properties of the image and set it to this one easily and quickly, and also set the text So this is text align and set it to the center like this. So it's done, and I can easily resize it and put it over here. It's really simple and it's straightforward. Also, we have another properties like if I take a look, like the text above image, image before text, and text before image. All of these are applicable over here. And after that, if I take a look and get inside all the properties, I have the enable. To enable or disable the button, let's set it to true. Then I have the flattest side. Let's set it to other options like the pop-up. This is the pop-up. Then the flat. This is the flat. And after that, a standard. So we can select the system. But in the system, I haven't any image over here. So let's set it to the standard. And based on your project, you can use one of these options. Okay, well done. Now let's talk about the label. Stay with me. Welcome back. Now let's talk about the label. So the label is over here and you can see it something like this. The main duty of the label is showing the text to the user, as I mentioned in the Audacity over here. So let's come over here and select this, both of these, put it down and come to this one. By default, it has the label. So let's type help. And after that, this is great course. And the result is like this. Also, I can come over here and uncheck the auto size. So uncheck that and resize it to anything that you want. From here, for instance, up to this one, like this. And after that, if I take a look over here, I have another property and the border style. By default, it is none. You can select, for instance, the fixed single. This is the fixed single and my favorite one, and the fixed 3D. So this is the fixed 3D. Let's select the most common, and it is the fixed single. Also, I have the back color that I can change it to anything that I want. For instance, let's select this one, the yellow or this color. Now, in the next step, I have the fore color. I can change it to anything that you want. For instance, let's select the red or this color. Now I have something like this over here. And after that, I have the image and image allow. So come over here, come to this. I have the image. Let's select one of these, for instance, this one, the view, and open. So this is the result. Now come to the properties over here and change it to this one. If I resize it like this, now I can better see the result. Come to the middle center and put it over here. This is the result. And after that, if I take a look, I have the right to left, and it is great for the different languages like the right to left or left to right. Currently, I'm working with the English, so let's select the left to right or right to left, set it to the no. This is the text and text align, so I can come over here and set it over here like this. Now I can easily change it, and this is the result. Help, this is great course. Okay, well done. Now learned more about the label, and the next one and next control is the text box. The most common is the text box over here. Drag and drop on the window. I can come over here and add another label. So my label, and for faster results you can write it over here, label, and drag and drop the label over here. So let's select this and name it first name. This is the first name, and let's select this and resize it up to here, for instance, and put it this one. Now if I take a look in the properties of the text box from the top, if I take a look, I have the back color that I can change it, but personally I don't want to change it. And the border style, fixed 3D, you can select all of them. For instance, this one. Now my text box is like this. Also, I can move it by the keyboard for better and precious result. Now come over here and come to the next one. I have the cursor. Let's leave it by default. And after that, I have the back color that is great. And then I have the enable. To enable or disable this one, Let's set it to the default one and fix 3D. And after that, I have the font. You can change the font, the font color, or the text color. Previously, we talked about all of this. And also, I have the multi-line. By default, it is false. So if you want to make it multi-line, you need to select this and resize it like this, easily and quickly. Let's set it back and say the normal. And also I have the password chart. If you wanna add this one as the password process in the login form, it's a really great idea to assign the password chart. So if I add the asterisk over here, this is the asterisk, and everything as the text inside this should be asterisk. For example, this is the text, and let's write help. So this is the result. I have up to 4 stars. Each star is for the one letter, like the H, like the E, up to the end. And this is great for creating the login window. And after that, I have the right to left. If I take a look, it is from here for the Persian and Arabic languages. And also I have another one. Let's select this and delete the asterisk. Great. And the next one is read only. By default, you can write anything that you want inside this. But if I take a look and set it to read only, then the color is changed. And if I run, I can see the result. If you set the read only to true, you can't anymore write the text inside your text box. And it's really great, and sometimes we need to use it. So it is completely disabled and I can work with it. So come over here and select this and get inside the read only and change it. So click on this. Now I can write anything that I want inside it. In addition, I have the max length or maximum number of characters inside it versus I can add up to 10. Now I can add the letters up to 10 characters. And before working with the read only, it's a great idea to enable the element or the control. So let's set the enable to true. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result for the read only. So as you see, the text box is locked and I can write or I can delete anything. But I can select the characters inside it. This means that my text box is read only. So it is a kind of lock. But if I take a look over here, select this and get inside the properties and set the read only to the false. And this is set to false and set the enables to false. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. And as you see over here, it is something like this, completely disabled, so I can select anything inside my text box. This is the disabled text box. Well done. Now we learned many great tips and tricks about how to work with the button, the label, and also the text box. So open up your project and start working with these controls. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start designing the student registration form as the final project of this section. So let's take it. Previously, we talked about how to work with the most common properties of the form, the text box, label, and the button. Now let's create the new project and learn many great new tips and tricks. It's really simple and straightforward. I can select all of this and delete them and start designing it over here, or I can add the new form. So let's select the project itself, right click on it, add, and the new item, or you can directly select the form and it is inside the Windows form. So the form is added over here and it's selected. Also, you can search it from here, the form, Windows form, and name it a student registration or a student rec as the registration and add it. After a couple of seconds, my form will be added over here automatically. So I have the student rec and also the designer. As I mentioned previously, the designer is the auto-generated files, and this one is for the images or fonts or other resources. And if I take a look over here, I have the VB and this is the form. Now let's resize it up to here like this. At the first step, let's get inside the properties of the form. So my form is selected. You can see it over here. Registration. So this is the registration. Set the startup position to the center screen. I don't want to assign the icon, so let's select this. And it's not the right to left, so let's set it to the no. And after that, I have the minimize box. Let's disable it, and maximize box. Let's disable it. And then I have the form border style cover here and set it to the fixed single like this. Then I have the next one, and it is the font. You can select this font or smaller or bigger. You are completely free to select anything that you want. And after all of this, I have the back color that you can change it. Or like me, let's leave it by default. Now let's save everything and get inside the toolbox and set the first one. If I scroll down, I have the group box over here. Drag and drop on your form. What is the group box? The group box is the control for grouping the items inside it. So let's take a look at the real world example of the group box. Get inside the Audacity over here, select some sound like this, get inside the effect and equalize the bass and treble. If I take a look, I have the group box over here. All of these items are inside the tone control, and also all of these items are inside the output group box like this. So the group box is really great and mostly used control between the programmers. I can come over here and select the next one and change page. So I have another group box over here and the next one over here. So let's do it in the action. Come to this and select this and resize it up to this one, for instance. And also you can move it from here and come to the properties of it and name it the details. So this is details, and it has the font. You can change the font and every item inside it. And also I have the for color or text color. For better understanding, if I add the button like this and it is inside the group box, and also if I add the label like this one and let's put it inside it. So if I take a look, you can move it and everything inside it is moving also. And this is the reality of the group box for grouping the items inside it. But if you select the group box, come to the properties for color and change it to something else like this one, then any control inside the group box got the same property or got the same for color. This is the inheritance, and indeed this is my parent and these are the children inside the parent. So let's select this and come over here, set it back to the black, and this is the black. Also I have the enable property. If you disable that, then all of these will be disabled after running the application and in the runtime. Let's set it back to the true. And it's time to start working with it. So let's select both of these, right click and delete. Now get inside the properties. At the first step, I have the label. So this is the label over here. And after that, I have the text box. So this is my text box exactly here. I can select this, put it over here, and this one. And this is the label. And I can come to the properties, the font, and set it to 11 like this. Now come to the properties of the label and name it first name. So this is the first name, and I can move it up to here. Also copy this and paste it over here. The next one is last name. The next one is mobile number. The next one is email. This is the email indeed. And after that, I have the next one and the address. So this is for the address. Come to this and properties, last name. This is last name. The next one is mobile or cell number. Let's write mobile. And this is the short version. Come to this and say email. And the last one is the address. So I have all of these items over here. Also, I can select both of these and resize it like this. And if I move it over here, as you see by the keyboard, I'm moving it. Arrow keys on the keyboard. So it is at the top of the first name. You can right click over here and get inside this one, send to back. So the labels are at the top of my text boxes, or even if I select this, come over here and bring it to front. Now my text boxes are at the top of the labels. So let's select this and move it over here. It looks great and amazing. Now let's select this and resize it up to here. And in the next step, it's time to add the buttons. One for saving, another for exiting or closing the application. So put it over here and resize it like this. Copy and paste over here, another one. And the first one, if I take a look, is exit. And the next one is, if I take a look, is save. So save changes and also exit. Now, if I take a look, this is the button and it is button 2. It's a really great idea to name it another one and name it, for instance, exit bot or something like that. And after that, select this and say save and the button. You can use the underscore over here between different parts of the name. Now it's time to add some kind of image for better result. It's really simple. Just come over here and come to this one, get inside the iconfinder.com and search this save. I want to work with the 32 in 32-bit pixels. So let's select this and download. Also, you can search for the exit button. So I have downloaded all the files for the faster result. Come over here and it is over here inside the downloaded project files, VivCore, images, and a student registration project. So I have the exit and the save. Now I have two options. First, I can come over here and let's select this, come to the properties and the image. This is the image. I can easily come to this and select it directly from here. But I have another option if I want to use the icon multiple times inside the project. And it is using the resource. So let's select this one, right click on it, come to the properties, and here I have the details. It is 32 in 32 pixels. So both of these are the same size. So let's select this, copy, and get inside the project. Over here I have the project, right click on it, get inside the properties, or you can get inside the project menu and the properties window, and after a couple of seconds it's done. So get inside the resources. This is the resources. You can see it over here, create or open resource, and click on it. This is the resource or the common folder for the strings, font, images, and so on. So come to this and images. This is the type of the resource. Right click on it and paste it. Now my images are added over here. To prevent the unexpected error, don't hesitate to save changes. It's really important matter. Before using this, you need to save them to prevent the unexpected errors. So get inside the student and come to this, come to the image. This is the image over here and project resource and select the save. So the save is selected. Come to the image align and change it to the left side or left center or middle center, and also come to the text align and set it to the right side or right middle. And this is the result. Let's resize it a little bit and great. So it is over here and I can resize it like this and this one indeed. And this is the exit. So come to the image. This is the image. Click on that and the exit. And this is the exit. So let's set it to the middle left, and also if I come to the text align, set it to the right middle or middle right. Now let's select this and move it over here and resize it like this easily and quickly. Let's put it over here, the exit and the save. Also I can write save changes for bigger button. So this is save changes and it looks better now and bigger indeed. So let's resize it. Good and amazing. Okay, everything looks great and it's time to run it. So let's run the application and let's see the result. Before doing anything, it's a really great idea to save changes, and if I run, I can see the great result. Also, sometimes we need to rebuild the project to update the result. It's really important matter, rebuild. So this is the result. Wow, what happened? The old window and my form is over here. It's really simple to change the startup form. So come over here and come to this one, select this, the project itself, get inside, show all files like this. Now I have my project, come over here, and inside it I have the application, my app, and also inside that I have the application designer. So let's select the application.my app, and here I have the main form. I can easily change it to anything that you want. Currently I want to work with the next form, and it is a student rec, so I can copy this and paste it inside here exactly like this. And also if I take a look in the designer, so the designer should be updated by the new name, and it is over here. Indeed, if I add the dots over here, I can change it to the form one or a student registration. Let's select the student registration. And this is the main part that you need to change it. For instance, if I change it to form one, this is the form one, then the designer will be updated, and you can see the form one is over here. And also if I come over here and change it to the student rec, exactly like this name, and it is in student rec. And if I get inside the designer, so the same result over here. It's a really important matter. Now let's save everything and come to this one. Indeed, if you change this part, it is enough, but check it to be sure that the main form over here and inside the designer are similar. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. But before doing anything, it's really great idea to save the changes and also get inside the build and clean then the rebuild application. Sometimes I can't see my changes in the final application. To solve it, easily clean then rebuild the application to be sure that every changes will be updated in the design of my form. So it's done. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. Well done. Now my form is accomplished successfully over here, and it looks really great and professional form. So my mission for designing the application is accomplished. Go ahead and open up your project and start designing the student registration form. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start writing the first code in the Visual Studio. So let's do it. Till now, we talked about how to start working with the Visual Studio at the new project. And also, we learned how to design this great and amazing application. And the next step is time to add the code. So come over here and come to this one. To start my tutorial, I added the first code form. So it is only the normal first code. And after that, I set the startup position to the center screen of the form. And in addition, I can come over here. Let's show all files, get inside my project and this one. And I have changed the startup form to this one, to the first code. So if I run the application, then my new form will be executed and will be the first form. And the result is like this. First, we talked about all of this in depth. So to start my tutorial, I added the form over here. Now let's start working with it. If you can see something like this over here, it means select this and close it without any problem. And also let's scroll this and this. So let's come over here and hide the unnecessary files over here and the first code. So come to the toolbox and drag and drop a button over here, resize it and name it show one MSG. It stands for message. Show one message. It's really simple, and name it show one. Show one MSG, and also bot. Show one message bot. It's a really great idea to assign the unique name for the controls on the form. So if I select this and double click on it, after a couple of seconds, something is available over here. And indeed, I'm inside the first code and I have the designer over here, as I mentioned previously. The codes are generated automatically. And also I have the first code over here. Let's come over here. This is the designer. And if I click on it, I have another file and it is first code.vb. Indeed, right click over here, open containing folder. And here I can see the first code.vb. This is the codes by me, the resx or resource files. Then the designer, the auto-generated codes over here. So let's come over here and come to this one. And in the next step, it's time to write the code. It's very simple and it's straightforward. If I come over here, at the beginning, let's write message box. Message box. You can see the message box over here and all of the other codes. But the most common and most famous one is message box. This is the first code. So at dot, now I can get access to all of the properties and methods of the message box. And click on the show. Then add parentheses, and as you see over here, I have up to 21 different states or overloads. We call it overload. Versus first overload, second overload, up to the end. So if I take a look at the third overload, it has 1 and 2 parameters. It's really simple. The first one is a string, and I can see the information over here, the text to display in the message box. So let's add something like this, double quotations. You know what? This is the rule. You need to write the messages or the text inside the double quotation and something like this. You can see the double quotations. And after that, if I take a look in the next step, let's write hello world, I'm a single line message. Then add comma. And as you see over here, I have the, if I take a look in the third overload or third state, I have the caption as a string, and the caption is text to display in the title bar, exactly over here. So let's write welcome. This is the welcome, and everything is done. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So click on this. Wow, hello world, I'm single line message. It's really simple and straightforward, and also it's really great. So I have the welcome over here. You can see the welcome here. Then the message text over here. So it's done. And let's close this. And at the first look, this is really scary and hard to understand. But you need to open up your project and start repeating this yourself to learn it deeply. We call this part as the sub. You can see the sub over here and up to the end. And also I have the end sub or closing tag for the sub. Each sub can hold one or more lines of the code. And the codes inside the sub will be executed when the user click on the show one message button, and it is this message button. So if you click on this message button, the first line will be executed automatically. And also I can add the next one. For instance, I can say hello world and come to this one and say num2. And also let's copy this and add the next one, num3. You are completely free to use anything that you want to, and the 3 over here. So if I run the application, I can see the result. Click on this. Now, hello world, I'm single line message. Indeed, the execution of the codes will be stopped until clicking on the OK when you want to show the message box. So show hello world num2, hello world num2. Click on that, hello world num3, and you can see the hello world num3 over here. So click OK and everything will be done. So this was the quick tour about the first and the most useful line of the code in the VB.NET. Now let's talk about another topic, and it is build, rebuild, and clean the project. So come over here and come to this one. To do that, open containing folder, get inside the project folder, bin or binary, debug, then the .NET 7, then all of these files. And also let's select this and put it over here, resize it like this one and minimize this and this one. So over here I have, if I take a look, I have the project files. And if I take a look inside the build, I have the clean. So if you click on the clean, then all of these files automatically will be deleted. And this is, and also if I click the build, the project will be built or updated one more time. And the result is like this. And also inside the output, you can see the stage of the build process. So it's done. Now I can get access to it. But sometimes I can see the changes inside the application executable, or after running it, I can see the changes. If you got something like this, it's a really great idea to come over here and rebuild the project. The rebuild will delete all the files first, then start building the project, and first delete it, then build it from scratch. So the rebuild means killing first, then build the project. And also, if you wanna debug the application or find the errors inside your code, you can come to the debug and start debugging, or press the F5, or over here you can see, if I maximize this, I have the debug button over here. So this was the quick tour and description about the build, rebuild, and the clean. Now let's talk about the error window. If I take a look over here, I have the error list window. So my errors should be available over here. For instance, if I come over here and delete the comma, now this is delete the comma, and I have the error. If you hover on it, you can see comma or valid expression expected. So I have the same result over here inside the error list. Now let's save everything and close this and also this and this. So I have the error over here, and if I double click on it, then directly the error location will be available for me by the Visual Studio. And this is the power of the error. And also if I delete something like this and write the string or text directly inside the application. So it's really great, and welcome is not declared. And if I undo this, and this is the result, undo up to here. Let's add the comma one more time manually for faster result. Now after a couple of seconds, you can't see anything over here. Sometimes after debugging the application, we can see all the errors over here inside the error list. You need to fix all of the errors, then you can start debugging or building the application. It's really important matter. The codes or the errors inside the application means we can't build it or we can't start debugging the application. And this is the usage of the error list. And also inside the output, I can get access to the process or the state of the build process, starting from here, for instance, up to this one. And this is the rebuild. Also, it is for the build and also the debug operations. Well done. Now my mission is accomplished successfully for the first code inside the VB.NET and the Visual Studio. Go ahead, open up your project and start adding your first code. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to quickly talk about the comments and its usage in the VB.NET. So let's begin. First, we talked about how to write the code over here. In the next step, suppose I want to add some kind of description or more information to this line of the code. It's very simple. I can come over here and add the quotation like this. Let's just start writing show no MSG to user. So this is more information about this line of the code. Also, I can add some kind of this and also put next line and add one quotation one more time and add it up to here. So it looks great and amazing. Indeed, the first step of using the comment is for adding the information and the next one is for adding some separation or arranging the codes. And also we can come over here and select this, for instance, come to the end and write the comment over here. You can comment this line. So it is more information over here, but after the line. And also there is another usage. It is for stop executing the line of code. For instance, I want to stop executing this line of the code at the quotation here, or this one at the quotation over here. And the green color over here means this is the commented line of code, this and this. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So click over here and I have hello world, this line, and nothing after that because these are commented. Also we have same short keys, and if I come over here, right click and select the text editor. So this is the text editor, and if I stop this, come to this one, easily I can select this first. Then here I have the comment and uncomment. So let's uncomment this or comment. You can easily comment or uncomment like this, and also this one, and let's comment or uncomment. Or even I can select all of this and stop executing them. So this is the result, comment and uncomment. Now if I run the application, there isn't any code to execute, so it is nothing. And click on this, nothing happened because I commented all of the codes totally. So let's select all of this, go to this and uncomment. Everything now is available. First message box, second and third message box. Well done. Now we learned more about the comment and its usage in the Ruby.NET. Go ahead and open up your project and start working with the comment. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start changing the back color and text color of the form or the controls inside it. So let's see it. First, we talked about how to change and assign the color to the background, and select the form. I have the fore color, and also I have the back color. Back color for changing the background color, and also fore color for changing the text color. Let's do it in the VB.NET code. So come here, select this, and double click on it. Its name is change back color button, and this is the event of this button. And also if I take a look over here, its name is change back color button. A simple button. The only thing I have changed is the name, change back color button. And also I have the next one, and its name is, if I take a look, change text color button. And if I click on it, so this is the event of my button easily and quickly. Let's start writing the code for the first button. It is the change back color. Let's double click on it. Now let's write the code for changing the back color. So let's write the back color. To change the back color of this form, it's very simple and straightforward. So the back color equals to what? Equals to color. Which color? At dot equals one of these colors from scratch up to the, and for instance, let's write yellow and yellow green and run the application. Let's see the result. After clicking on this one, everything will be changed as the back color. So let's come over here, and this is the result. Click on it, and easily we could change the back color of the form. Also, we can change the back color of this button or this or this. It's very simple and it's straightforward. So let's close this one more time, and directly you can get inside the designer. Right click and view designer, or you can double click on this. Both of these are similar. Double click on this, or one click and select the designer. This is the designer. Now let's select this, and before changing any control on the form, we need to use the name of it. So this is show one message button. Come over here and say show, this is show one message button. Click on it, and after that add dots. Now I want to change the back color. So this is the back color, and I can easily assign the color. Let's write the color at dot and another color like the red, for instance. This is the red. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So click over here. As you see, the back color is changed to the red and it looks great and amazing. In addition, we can change the text color. So we have the text color button over here. If you can't see the designer, no worries. You can easily close this. All of these are the box of the Visual Studio, and in the future, maybe this will be solved by the Microsoft. So come over here and come to this, and now it's time to change the text color. So this is the change text color, and come over here. Now let's write for color, and this is the for color of the form equals to color, and the, for instance, the blue or something like that. The blue, this is the blue run, and let's see the result. This is the text color of the form, and if I take a look, so click over here, as you see, the text color of all of these have changed to the blue. As I mentioned previously, the form is the parent of all of these controls and elements. As the result, if you change some property in the form, then all of the other children inside the form will get the same property until you assign the dedicated same property to the button, for instance. For instance, I can assign the red to this one and also the red to one of this. Currently, I didn't assign any for color to these buttons. As the result, the Visual Studio will assign the for color or text color of the form to the children inside it. Now come over here and come to this one. Also, I can come to the next, and suppose I want to change the text color of, if I take a look, right click over here, view designer. And after a couple of seconds, so suppose I want to change the text color of this show one message button. Come over here and say show one message button at dots and the for color equals to color at dots and one of these options. For instance, I can select the white. So this is the white. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So this is, click on it. Now it is nothing, or it is the white indeed. And if I take a look, click on this, now it looks better. White color in the red background. So it's done. Now we learned how to work with the VB.NET Code to change the for color or the back color. It's really practical and amazing. Go ahead and open up your project and start working with the colors. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start writing the VB.NET code to change the text of the button and the form. So let's take it. Firstly, we talked about how to show the message, change the back color, and also change the text color. In this step, it's really great to write the VB.NET code to change the text of elements. So this is the button. I added this to start my tutorial. Its name is change text button, and click on it. Suppose I want to change the button text itself and change this one. So I can say change and the button. So this is change text button and add dots and the text equals to what? Equals to double quotations. Hi, I love you. And this is the hi, I love you. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. Let's patient. So let's click over here, click on it. Hi, I love you. I could easily and successfully change the text of the button. Also, you can use all the buttons. The only thing you need is using the proper name over here. So let's come to this, and in addition, we can add some kind of the code to get access to this quickly. It's really simple. Instead of writing this directly, I can easily say me. Me means this form. Me dot and the change. This is the change text button and add .txt up to this one. Me over here means this form, then this button inside this form, then the text property of the button inside the me. Me means here or this form. So let's go over here and add another text, and suppose I want to change the text of form. So I can write the text, this is the text, or the form.text, you can see it. And instead of that person, I prefer to use the me dot the text and equals to what? Hi, I hate you. Hi, I love you. Hi, I hate you. So if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. Let's version. So click over here. Now, hi, I hate you. And also, hi, I love you. In addition, we can use this code. The text equals to hi, I hate you. And if I run, I can see the result. And click on it. Hi, I hate you. But as I mentioned previously, if I add the me over here, me means this form. So it looks a kind of better code and more organized code to get access to the form and the properties inside it. And this is optional, so you can write it or you can leave it. Personally, I prefer to write it in my codes and the projects. Well done. Now we learned how to write the VB.NET code to change the text. Go ahead and open up your project and start changing the text with the VB.NET code. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start writing the VB.NET code to enable and disable the controls or the form itself. So let's begin. First, I talked about how to change the text. And the next step is a great idea to enable one of these or all of them by the single line of the code. It's very simple and straightforward. Suppose I wanna disable this button and its name is change text button. And also if I take a look over here, I have the enable property. If you set it to false, then run the application, the change text button will be disabled because I assigned the false to the enable property. So come over here and come to this button. Suppose I want to change this one. Let's click over here and it is the enabled. So enabled button. Let's say for instance me dot, and after that I'm using the me and it is optional because I want to get access to the controls inside the me or this form. Then change the button and change the text button and enable property. So if you hover on the enable, as you see, it is Boolean. Boolean means true or false. So let's select this and equals to what? You can write the true, and this is the true to enable, or you can use the false to disable. You are completely free to write the appropriate. So let's write the true because I want to enable that. So if I come over here and enable what? Enable this one. Now run and let's see the result. So let's click over here. So it's enabled and I can easily change the text. In addition, I have the disabled and it is reverse of the enable button. So let's select this one, and you know what? The enable and disable are reverse of each other. So if I select the disable and let's see the result. Come over here. Let's change it to the disable button. Disable button. It's really important matter to use the appropriate and unique name for your controls before working with the events of this. So double click over here and I can select this part, copy and paste over here and equals to false to disable the change text button. So as you see over here, I have one event for my disable button and also I have another event for the enable button. And also I have the dedicated events up to the end. So let's run and let's see the result. So let's enable and disable. It's working completely. And also we can add another control or grouping control like the group box and add all of this inside it. To do that, come over here and select all of this from the top to the bottom. Now let's cut Ctrl X And after that, get inside the toolbox over here. So let's scroll down, and here I have the group box. Put it over here, and this one. Now I can paste it inside it. So this is the group box, and name it group. So I have all of the items inside it, and if you move it, you can see everything is moving. It means this group box is the parent of these buttons, and also the form is the parent of my group box. So suppose I want to disable and enable the group box. Let's see the result. Come over here, this is the enable, and come to this one. Before doing anything, we need to get access to the group box name. So let's see the name. This is, and it is group box, no matter, and it is good name. So let's come over here, and let's copy this part and paste over here. Instead of the change button, let's write group box 1 enable, and also let's copy this and paste it over here and write the false exactly like previous one. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So click enable, and it's enabled and disabled. So everything is disabled and enabled. So it's disable, enable, disable, and enable. Well done. Now we learned how to enable and disable the elements or the controls inside the form. Go ahead and open up your project and start working with the enable and disable buttons. Thanks, and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start writing the VB.NET code to show and hide the controls on the form. So let's take it. If I take a look over here, previously we talked about the enable and disable. We have similar to that for the show and hide. Suppose I want to hide this button. So its name is change text button. And if I scroll down, I have the visible property. It is true or false, Boolean. I can easily set it to false. Then after running the project, this will be invisible. So if I run the application, let's see the result. So this button is invisible. I can easily write the code to show it. So this is its name is change text box text, and after that I need to get the name of my show button. To speed up my tutorial, I added all of this previously. This is the show button, so its name is show bot, and also if I select the next, it is the hide button. So let's click over here and easily say me, and this is optional as I mentioned. And the next one is change text button. Which property? The visible property. Equals to what? Equals to true or false. If you hover on the visible, you can see it is as Boolean. It means true or false. Boolean means true or false. So I wanna show it. Let's write visible equals to true. It means show it. And also for the next button, this is the hide. I can easily say this and copy and paste over here and say the false, and this is the result. Now let's run and let's see the result. So this is show and hide, show hide. Also it is enabled. You can see enable, show, and hide easily, and great. And also I can hide the group box entirely to show and hide all of this. So come over here and let's right click over here, view designer. And if you can't get access to the designer, no worries. It is the bug of the Visual Studio, and you can see something like this. The operation is not valid. So let's click OK and close this and right click from scratch, view designer. Now the name of this is the group box 1. So let's come over here and say the same thing over here to show it, and the group box 1. This is the group box 1, and this is the next one, and group box over here, the false, to make the group box hidden. So let's run and let's see the result. Click on the show, it is show, and also hide. Completely all of these are hidden because the parent and the group box in it is invisible. Show, hide, show, hide. Also you can click the show, then enable, and all of these are enabled. Okay, I enjoyed a lot. Now open up your project and start working with the show and hide buttons. Thanks, and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the date time in the VB.NET. So let's begin. To start my tutorial, I added all of these over here. And also, if I select the form itself, I assign the text, a subposition center screen, and also minimize box false, maximize box false. And these are the normal and straightforward text boxes and also the buttons. And after adding the new form over here, let's get inside the project, show all files, my project, and change this part. If I double click on the application, my app, assign the name of my new form over here, datetime frf, exactly like this, datetime frf. Now let's close this one and let's start working with the first code. So let's select the first text box. Its name is datetime text box. And this is, if I take a look, is datetime button. Now let's click over here. So let's type me dot and the text box. So I have the datetime text box dot which property? The text property equals. And also if I take a look, equal to what? Let's auto-hide this and also this one. And the date time, let's write date time, and this is the date time. If I take a look over here, the date time, then add dot now. Now means current time and date of the operating system or my computer. So let's write now, and after that, it's really great idea to convert it to a string. It's not necessary in the VB.NET, but it's really great idea to convert it to the string, then assign to the text. And also, if I take a look over here, let's see the results. You know what? If you wanna create the bugless application or professional one, you need to check your application frequently. It's a really important matter. Get time. Now I have the date over here and also the time exactly here. Let's get start working with the next one, the get date. So come to this and its name is date text box. As I mentioned previously, let's be patient. So it is date text box 1 and the name of this is date button. Now let's come over here, double click on it and say me, the date, and the date text box, exactly this one. Which property? The text property equals date time now, and come over here, add dot, and I want to get the date of my text box. So I have the date over here. So this is the get component of this instance, exactly like this. It's a great idea to convert it to a string like this, and to a string. And it's a great idea also adding the parentheses after the toString method. So let's run and let's check it. Now click on this, and as you see over here, I have the date, then the default time. And it's a great idea to remove this part. It's really simple. Just come over here, and this is the first one. As you see, it is the date button and the date toString. Over here, exactly between the parentheses, it's time to write the code. It's very simple. Just write double D as the lowercase, and after that add a slash, or you can use the hyphen like this. And after that, uppercase M 2 times. It stands for month. The first one, the D, stands for day in 2 digits. The next one is stand for the month as 2 digits. And the last one is for Y over here. So the year as the 4-digit formats. Now let's select this and easily get inside the run. And let's see what's going on inside my code. So click over here and this one. So I have something like this. And the format is sensitive to the case of letters. So use the uppercase M, lowercase t, lowercase y. Now let's talk about the next one. And the next one is this. If I take a look, its name is time text box. So come over here and let's come to this and this over here. Now instead of the date, let's write time of day. And also if I take a look like this. Now let's see the result. You know what? If you want to be successful and professional programmer, you should be smart and check different codes. So this is working, and also this is, but I need to assign this one to the time. And also it's a really great idea to format and remove this part of the code. It is microsecond. So come over here, and instead of the date time, let's write time and time text box 1. And exactly over here, I can easily add two uppercase H. It stands for the 24 hours format for the hour, the colon, and the next one, if I take a look, is M, lowercase m, colon, and the S, lowercase s. So this is hour in the 24-hour format, minutes, and the seconds. So it's done. And after that, if I take a look over here, we need to delete the time of day like this and convert the now to a string. Now, if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So click over here and it's done. Also this and this, all of these are available for me. Now let's talk about the next one, and it is day of month, and also get year. So come over here and come to this. The next one is really simple and straightforward. If you can't directly get access to the designer, it is the bug of Visual Studio, and this is indeed for the Visual Studio itself. Just close the designer and open it from scratch one more time. In the future, maybe the Microsoft solved this error, but currently the Microsoft didn't do anything. So let's select this. Its name is day of month. The next one is get month, and the next one is get year. So the first one is day of month. Double click over here, and let's see, me, day of month. This is day of month, and the text box dot text equals to the now, and after that you can directly use the now, or like me, date, time, and the now. Both of these are identical and similar. Now I want to get the day of month. So day of month. This is day of year and the day. The day is indeed the day of month. So I can select that, and it is integer. It's a really great idea to convert it to a string. It's not necessary, but over here, let's add it. And after that, if I take a look, this is the next one, gets month text box. So come over here, copy this part to my tutorial, and say the month. So the month text box, and this is the month text box. And instead of the day, let's write the month like this. And after that, I have the next one, and it is the year text box. So let's come over here and copy this and paste it over here and say year text box. And also this is as the year, and delete. So let's run and let's see the great and amazing result. So click over here, it's working, and also this 28, 2023, exactly this part, 28, 2023. So we did it in the last step. It's time to add the text to get the hour, minute, and the second. You can easily do it. Come over here and let's select this. And after that, get inside the properties. Distribution, select this, hour text box. So come over here and say distribution up to here, paste it. Let's say the hour text box, then the year, then the hour. So this is the hour. If you hover on the hour, it is as integer. So we need to add the to a string to convert it to a string, but this part is not necessary. Don't forget. And the next one is my minute, and its name is minute text box. So come over here and paste it and say minute text box, and this as minute. This is the minute. And finally, I have the second. So this is the second text box, and let's paste it over here and say the second text box like this, and also change it to the second easily and quickly. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. Let's be patient. Click on this, everything is working, and click on the hour. minute and the second. If you click on the second multiple times, you can see the changes over here. And it means that the second is working completely, exactly like this part. And you can see it is based on the 12 format, but this is as the 24 format. So it is like this, and my second is updated. Well done. Now we learned many great tips and tricks about how to work with the datetime. In my upcoming tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create the great and professional clock. So stay with me. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start designing and creating the digital clock. So let's begin. To start my tutorial, I added the new form and its name is clock, and also show all files, get inside my project, and double click on the application and change the main form over here. Currently, I want to assign the clock as the main form. So let's select this. And after adding it, if I take a look, I have the designer, and here I have the next one. And if I take a look, it is over here. And you can see the main form is this one. Now let's close this and also this one. So I have the clock. Now if I run, I can see the simple and amazing empty form. So this is the result. Now let's come here and come to the toolbox. And here I have the label. So let's drag and drop the label like this. Now select that, get inside the label and name it timer label or clock label. And after that, set the auto size to false. Now I can resize it anywhere that I want. From here and up to this one. Full screen up to here. Come to the properties and assign the text align. Text align at the middle center over here. Now let's write the time, simple time or the test time. And write for instance 23, 40, and 34 like this. 23, 40, 34. And it's time to assign the font for that. So let's come over here, select the font and make it bold and also a little bit bigger up to this one or the bigger one. Let's select and come over here, and I think it is great and amazing. Now come to the fore color and change the fore color to the white, and this is the white itself. And after that, let's select the back color, and it is black. This is the back color. Set it to the black like this. Now it looks great and amazing. In addition, if you can see the dark as the background, don't hesitate to select the form itself, come to the back color, then assign the same color or the black. No worries and no problem. So it looks great and amazing. Now let's run the application and let's see the result. After designing the clock, so my design is accomplished successfully. And the next step is time to write the code for the clock itself. Let's see. So this is the result. It's really great. And let's close this. And if I click on the form, so you can see, double click on the form. Now let's write the C# code to load the time. Previously we talked about this matter, and here in the time, get time. Click on this and copy this part. Copy, and let's auto add this clock. Double click on the form and paste it over here. Instead of the me time text box, let's say the timer label like this. Which property? The text property. Get the now or current date and time of the computer, then convert it to a string by this format. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So it is like this: 11:36, 11:36. My format is 24 hour, so the first one is 23, but this clock is not working. And we need to use another matter and another control to repeat this action. Indeed, repeat this part of the code. Fortunately, we have the really great and practical element in the control, and its name is the timer. So let's come over here. Let's close this one more time. As I mentioned, that is because of the bug of the Visual Studio. Get inside the toolbox, and here I have the timer, and this is the timer. Drag and drop on the form. The timer hasn't an interface, so I can see the timer at the bottom of the form. So this is the timer one, and I can change it, for instance, clock timer. This is only the name, so you can write anything that you want. Then enabled. I need to enable this. So let's set it to the true. And also I have the interval. The interval is the frequency of repeating the same code. For instance, I want to repeat the code over here each 1 second. And then we need to get inside the timer and assign the interval up to 1000. 1000 means 1000 milliseconds and indeed 1 second. So let's come over here and let's save everything. Double click on the timer. Now it's time to assign the code like this over here. And if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So it's working. Congratulations. Now my clock is working successfully. In addition, we can change the interval. If I take a look, this is only for your deeper understanding. My code for the clock is accomplished successfully. Now let's come over here, right click with designer, and this is select the clock. As it is 1000, so I can change it to 2000 or 2 seconds. Now if I run, I can see the result. After assigning the 2000 for the interval, now my code will be executed each 2 seconds. And you can see something like this: 0, 2, then 4, then 6, then 8, and the 10. So my clock updates each 2 seconds. But this is not really great idea for the clock, and it looks better to set it to 1000. So let's name it 1000, and my mission is accomplished. Well done. Now everything is working perfectly. So open up your project and start adding the timer to your clock and create the digital clock or digital timer. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi there, in this video I want to show you how to start working with the variables, especially the string variable. So let's do it. At the beginning, let's talk about the definition of the variable. The variable is a container or box. So it is something like the box or container, and you can see the example over here. For storing the data values, to save the data values. If I take a look over here, as you see, this is the box and it is the string variable. And after that, it has the name. You can see the name is iColor, and also its type is a string. So this box is a string, and we can add only the string text inside it. So this is the value and it is blue. For better understanding, if I take a look, we have the definition of the variable. This is the definition: dim or dim, variable name. This is the variable name. Just English letters, can't be totally number. And after that, as, then variable type, and you can see it should be a string, integer, long, double, decimal, and boolean. In this video, I want to talk about the string. So this is my favorite one. Then equals and the value. So here I have the live example. dim fname as a string equals the mic. It means the value of the fname is mic, exactly like this. This is the value, the name, and also the type. That is a string. So let's switch in the action. Come over here and come to this one. And to start my tutorial, I added this form and also this button and the text box. In addition, I can come over here, show on, then my project, and over here. So don't hesitate to assign the name of your new form over here. This is the clock. So I can come over here and I wanna get the variables if are copy this, and after that paste it over here easily and quickly. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So it's done. Now I have the form over here. In the next step, come over here and suppose I want to show the message box. This is the show message button. And suppose I want to show the message box to the user. Click on it, show message box button, click event. Now let's come over here and say message box. This is the message box dot show. Previously talked about this matter. And let's say hi. And after that, add some space like this. And also let's copy this and this one and say hi, I love you, I love you, you are the best. Now if I run, I can see the results over here. Hi, I love you, hi, you are the best. Now let's go over here and come to this one. Suppose I want to get some value from the text box and show it over here. So come over here one more time, new designer, and this is the text box and its name is MSG text box. So come to this and let's add plus, then the me text, and as you see the message box text dot text, which property? The text property. Also let's come over here and let's add some space here and plus, and after that the next one, and it is the plus. So it is hi, you are the best, and the text easily and quickly, and also hi, I love you, the name hi, something like this. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. Let's add some value over here inside it and say Alex. This is Alex, copy for later using. Now let's click on the show all. So it is hi Alex. Instead of this one, I have the name inside the text box. Then the next one, hi, I love you Alex. Finally, I have hi, you are the best Alex. But if I take a look over here, there is a simple problem and I need to repeat this part multiple times, up to 3 times. And it's not really great idea creating something like this. Instead of that, I can easily come over here and, as I mentioned previously, define the variable. So it is dim fname as a string. Now let's come over here and say dim. After that, this is the dim, then the variable name. So I'm over here, the variable name. Come over here and say dim fname or something like that, or first name, no worries, and first name. So this is the first name as the variable type as a string, because I want to assign the string to that. So I can add the string over here and also, for instance, write some value for that. And let's copy this part and paste it over here. I didn't use the double quotations for this, so you need to write it something like this. Or you can come over here and get inside the next line, and let's comment this and say dim first name as a string, press enter and say the first name, this is the first name, then assign the value to that, and the value is this one. Both of these are similar and the same result, so paste over here. Now instead of the text boxes, I can use the variable name. This is my variable name in this part. So let's copy and paste it instead of the first text box, the second text box, and third text box. So I have up to 3 times using the first name variable. So it is a string. As the result, I can add text and numbers inside it. This is the value and indeed over here I want to get the value from the text box, this text box. So let's put it over here and run, and let's see the result. So let's try something like the mic over here. Click on this. Hi Mike. Hi, I love you Mike. Hi, you are the best Mike. So it's done and it's working perfectly. Okay, well done. Now we learned how to work with the string variable. So we are over here. If I take a look in the next step, it's time to talk about the integer, then the line, double decimal, and the Boolean. It's time consuming, so stay with me. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi there, in this video I want to show you how to easily start working with the integer or int32 and also with the long or long64 variables. So let's do it. Firstly, we talked about the string and how to work with it, but sometimes we need to calculate the sum of numbers. In these situations, we need to use the int32 or int64. To suit my tutorial, I added all of this over here. So I have two numbers. This is the num1, num2, and the result text box. I'm going to calculate the sum of numbers over here. The first step and first option is using the int32. If I take a look inside the Google and write int32 in VB.NET, then we have something like this over here. It is for the numbers between -2 billion up to +2 billion, like this. And also, if I take a look in the int64, so it is great for -9 quintillion up to +9 quintillion. It's really big number. So for the small numbers up to 2 billion, we're gonna use the int32. And for the big numbers like the non-quintillion, it's really great idea to use the long variables. And you can see it over here. The integer or int32 is for the numbers up to 2 billion, and also for the long, the numbers greater than 2 billion. So let's switch in the action. Come over here and come to this one. Suppose I have two numbers. This is the first num, second num, and the result over here. So click over here and easily say me result text box dot text equals to what? Equals to me num1 dot text plus me num2 text box dot text. So I want to add both of these together. So run the application and let's see the result. Now let's go over here, write something like this and this and calculate this sum. But wow, what happened? The result is wrong, and indeed it added the first number then the second number together without calculating the actual sum. So to fix this error and problem, we can use the int32 or the integer. Let's define dim, and in the second one we need to use the variable name, then add in the data type. So come over here and say dim first num as integer. You can use the integer or int32. And also let's copy this and paste it over here and here. And say second num. Second num. And also say result. Result num over here. Now it's time to assign the value to that, and it's really simple and straightforward. Come over here and say the first num equals, this is the first num, equals to what? Equals to int32 dots and parse. Parse means convert. Convert what? Convert the string. And here I have the string, my num text box text, and paste it over here. So this line of the code converts the first number text, then assign it to the first num. And also we need to use the second one and copy this and paste it over here. So this is the second one. Copy over here and change it to num2 like this, num2 text box. Now I have the result num. I can easily say result num equals to what? Equals to the first number. You can see the first number over here plus second number. This is the result. First number plus second number. And in the next SM, I have the result num. It's time to assign it to the text of the result text. It's really simple. Just go over here and add some comment over here and say the result num, exactly this one, the result num. It's a really great idea to convert it to a string because this is the number and we need to convert the number to the string. This is optional and you can add it or you can leave it. In the VB.NET, the toString is optional in most of the cases, but in the C#, the C or C++, we need to convert this to the string. Now let's run and let's see the result. So this is if we write something like this number up to this number and calculate the sum. So it is this number. And also I can increase the numbers like this and get calculated. And also a really big number. Or let's write 3 million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And if I sum, so I got this error. Value was either too large or too small. So in this example, it is too big one or too large. And if I take a look, now let's just stop the application. And for the bigger numbers, more than 2 billion, it's a really great idea to use the long or int64. So let's click over here and to stop my tutorial, let's copy this part and paste it over here. Now instead of the int32, let's write int64. Or you can use the long over here. This is the long. And if I take a look, this is the long. And let's name it long for instance. You are completely free to use the long or int64. Over here, I can use int64 and also copy and paste it over here. Both of these are similar. Now if I run, I can see the results and also I can summarize the really big numbers. For instance, I can add something like this to something like this one over here. So don't press the first button because it is int32. Instead of that, click on the second one, sum int64. Now the result is like this. Also, if I take a look on the previous button, click on it, so the same result. Value was too large or too small. Okay, I enjoyed a lot. Now we learned how to work with the int32 and int64 variable. So we are over here. In the next step, it's time to work with the decimal numbers. It's time consuming, so stay with me. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the double and decimal variables. So let's do it. Previously, we talked about the string, integer, long, or string, int32 and int64. But sometimes we need to work with the decimal numbers. To do that, we have two options. The first one is double, and it is for the decimal numbers, and decimal. The decimal is for the very big decimal numbers. So let's start working with the double. Go ahead and come over here. To start my tutorial, I added both of these buttons, one for double, the next one for the decimal. So the double is over here. Let's name it the D or something like that. And this is the decimal. So let's come over here and write the decimal like this. So let's do it in the action. Also, this is the num1, num2, and the result. Firstly, we talked about how to work with the int32 and int64. Let's copy the code from here and paste it. Now let's select this and change it to the double. This is the double. and the double over here, here, and also here and here. And in addition, we have the decimal number. Let's talk about it later. So let's run and let's see the result. Now let's come over here and write some decimal numbers like this. It's really big one, and also something like this over here. And it's really big number. And let's come over here and add something like this and some double. So the result is this one. And after that, I can delete this part and add the decimal over here and also 0 at the beginning. And for this, let's add the 0. So both of these are smaller than the 1. Now let's click on the sum double like this. So you can see it's done something like this over here. And also if I take a look, let's change it to the bigger numbers and this one. And click over here. You can see the result is like this. And also let's add 1 and some double. You can see the result, and it is up to this number of digits over here. But if you need more precision, you need to work with the decimal. The decimal is really big number, and you can work with the 28 decimal places. It's really big one. So let's come over here and come to this one. Let's copy this and paste it over here. Now paste it over here and name it the decimal. This is the decimal. The next one, the next, here, and here. Currently, I assume that you watched my previous tutorials. So let's be patient. Now let's come over here and write really big decimal number up to this one, and also another one up to this number. It's really big one, and some double. So the result is this. Some decimal. The result is up to here. It means we can work with really big numbers. And over here, and some decimal, some double. And also I can come over here and really big number. Let's write it up to this and up to this number. It's really big number. So the sum is this. As you see, I got the error. The value was too large or too small. And don't forget to consider the 28 digits for the decimal. It's really important matter. So let's come over here and come to this and start the project. Well done. Now learned how to work with the double and decimal in the VB.NET. Go ahead and open up your project and start working with the decimal and double. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the Boolean variable in the VB.NET. So let's see. Till now we talked about all of these variables, and the last one is the Boolean. Boolean has two values, true or false. So it is really simple and straightforward. To do that, get inside the project over here. To start my tutorial, I added this button. Its name is Bool button 4, and double click on it. At the first step, let's define and say dim, for instance, bl or boolean as, and the boolean. This is the boolean itself. And the next step is time to assign the value to this. So I can say bl equals true or bl equals to the false like this. So let's close this and write something else. If I take a look over here and come to this one, let's select the button. If I take a look inside the properties, I have the enable property, true or false. So the enable property is Boolean. It accepts only true and false. And after that, if I take a look over here, I have another one and it is visible, true or false. So the visible is something like the enabled, and both of these are Boolean. Now let's do it in the action, and let's select this button. It is a show message box, and also this is my text box, and let's set it to false, the enable property to false. Now if I run, I can see the result. So it's working perfectly and my text box over here is disabled. So I want to assign the disabled property of my text box to another variable, and after that assign the value of the variable to another control like the show message. So come over here, and at the beginning let's write me dot, then if I take a look, the result text box dot text, which property? The enable property. You can see it over here. Now I have true or false over here. I can easily say BL equals to the enable property of my result text box. And in the next step, let's separate the code, and I want to assign the BL to another one, and exactly to this one, show message button. Cover here and say show message button, or for faster result you can write me dot the show and the message button, this one. Which property? The enable property. Equals to what? Equals to BL. Now it's done. And if I run the application, I can see the great and amazing result. So currently my text box in this text box over here is disabled, and this button is enabled. If you click on the Boolean, then the new button is disabled, exactly like the text box, result text box over here. Both of these are disabled by using 3 lines of the codes. And in addition, we can create something else. Suppose I want to connect the enable property of the result text box to visibility of the form. So let's come over here, come to this one. Now I have the BL and say me visible property. As you see, it is Boolean, so it has only 2 values, true or false, equals to BL. And the BL is enable property of my show button. Now let's run and let's set the result. So click over here. Wow, what happened? I lost my form, but it is not stopped, and we have the stop button over here. If you run and get inside the task manager, then over here, if I take a look, I have the Visual Studio. You can see it over here, and my first app VB. You can see my first app VB over here. So my application is running, but the main form is invisible, and stop it. Okay, well, now learned how to work with the Boolean variables in the VB.NET. It's really great, simple, and straightforward. If you got this error, no worries. It is just the bug of the Visual Studio. Open it one more time, then the error will fix. So open up your project and start working with the Boolean variable, and stay with me with my upcoming tutorial. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi there, in this video I want to show you how to start working with the scope of the variables. So let's do it. Let's start working with the first one and show message button. If you take a look over here, I have the definition of the first name and its type is a string. Now if I take a look and come to the last line and say first name, then you can get access to it easily without any restriction. But currently I can only get access to the first name inside the event of my button from here up to this one. And this is not really a great idea. Sometimes we need to define the first name as the public one. Then I can get access to it everywhere inside this form. The method is really simple and straightforward. Just come over here and outside of the button click event, select this, drag and drop over here. Now I have the first name and I can get access to it everywhere over here. For instance, first name, you can see the first name over here. I can start working with it. And also if I come over here and say the first name, this is the first name. So it is public and I can get access to it everywhere inside this file of the C#. Or even I can come to this one, and if I take a look over here, the first, this is the first name. So I can get access to it everywhere inside this file. We call something like this variable as the public variable. And if I take a look over here, let's be patient. And don't forget to put the definition of the variable outside of the click event or other locations of the code. Go ahead and open up your project and start working with the public and the local variables. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the if statement in the VB.NET. So let's dig in. Till now, we talked about the different variables and how to work with them. In the next step, it's a really great idea to create a simple age calculator application. Then I'll show you how to use the if statement inside it. So let's dig in. At the beginning, I added all of this over here and the simple button, simple text box, and the simple label. So at the beginning, let's calculate the age of the user, then start working with the if statement. So come over here and double click on it and get inside the calc button, click event. So click over here. At the beginning, let's write dim and define the year variable and as what? As the int 32 or integer. Now it's time to get from me, then the text box text, or the year text box. Which property? The text property. So it's time to assign the y this number, and let's say y equals to this one. But for better result, let's say int 32 dot, and after that parse. This is the parse, and parse means convert to, and this is the result. First, let's define the y as the year, and also then convert the year text box to the int 32 and assign it to the y. Now it's time to get the current year of the computer. So let's say date and time at dot, and after that I want to get the now or current date and time of the computer now, and at dot and the year. So this is the year and year. If you hover on it, it is the year component of the date, and its data type is integer, as you see over here, or the int 32. Now let's define another one, and now let's say dim, then the age or something like that. dim age as what? As int 32, like this, and press enter. Go to the next line. Over here I can say age equals to the current year of computer minus the y over here. So it is the age of my user. Also I can say message box dot show and the age. So it's a great idea to change the age to the string. So this is the result. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. Come to the debug and start debugging. Let's add the breakpoint over here to get deeper inside the codes. Now let's write, for instance, 1980. This is my own age in calc. So the y, and let's resize it over here. This is the F10 or a step over. Now come over here and y is 1980. And after that I have the year, and it is 2023. So this number minus this number will be the age of the user. And go to the next, and I can easily hover on it, and it is 43. And this is the result. Now go to the next line and show the age to user, 43. In the next step, it's a great idea to add the if structure. So come over here, and currently I have something like this structure, the if at the parentheses. The parentheses are optional, so you can add it or you can leave it. Then the condition inside it. After that, then and your code should be over here if the condition is true. And if the condition is not true, I have the else over here. And let's write the code if the condition is false. Now let's take a look at this example. So at the first step, I am age as int 32, and this is the age up to 32 years old. After that, I have the if structure, and if I take a look, it looks better now. And I have the parentheses and say if the age is greater than 30, then show this message box, you are middle-aged. Let's do it in the action, and it's really simple one. So let's add it over here, and after that, let's add the if structure, double press the tab. So the if structure will be automatically generated. And as I mentioned, you can add the parentheses. I love it, but it is completely optional. So if the age is greater than the 30 age like this, then I have the message box over here. And let's say you are middle-aged. You are middle-aged. And after that, I have the else structure, and this is the else. And also I can add the equal over here, and it means the age is greater than and equals to the 30. So come over here, and in the next one, let's write you are, and this is you are wrong, and the next one is you are middle-aged. Now let's start, and let's see the result. Come over here and execute the application. So let's start, for instance, 2000, and click on the calc. It is up to 23, and you are wrong. Also, I can add the breakpoint over here to get deeper inside the codes. So come to this and calculate 23 and the age. The age is 23 over here. So it is not greater than or equals to the 30. It means the code of the else should be executed. So let's say, and you are young. And after that, if I take a look in the next step, so let's write 1980, my age, and click on it, 43. And if I take a look over here, the 43 is greater or equals to the 30, and it is completely correct. So this one of the code will be executed like this, and the result is you are middle-aged, and this is the result. Okay, well done. Now we'll learn many great tips and tricks about the if structure, but in the if condition, we can use the equals like this, or greater than and equals. And also, if I take a look, it is smaller than and the equals. And also, I can use the not equal like this. This means not equal to the 30. Now let's undo the changes, and this is the result. Okay, I enjoyed a lot. Now we learned the simple if statement or the structure. So it is this one, and in addition, we can work with the multiple if statements. It's time consuming, so let's talk about it in the upcoming tutorial. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start designing the month name project. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start creating the project to convert the month number to the appropriate month name. So let's take it. Firstly, we talked about the calculator of the age, and we have up to here. And we have something like the text box and the button, including the label. In the next project, I want to get the month name from the month number. For instance, the first month is January, second one is February, and so on. So let's go over here and add this one. If I take a look, its name is month textbox, and this is the month button. Indeed, my intention of this video tutorial is learning how to add the multiple if structures. So come over here, and this is the month and month. Double click on it over here, exactly month button, click. So at the beginning, let's get the month number. So let's define the DIM month number, or the month month name. I can easily add something like this m num as integer, and you can see the integer over here, or you can use the int 32, no worries. And after that, let's get the int 32, and you can see the int 32, then add dot, and I want to parse the text box. Which text box? Now let's add me and the month text box. So you can see the month text box. Which property? The text property, like this. Now I have the month num. So let's come over here and say m num equals to this one. Now let's add some kind of separator over here. And the next step is time to check the mnum and identify the month name. So let's define another variable and say dim month name as a string. So this is the string. And after that, let's add some comment here and define the first if structure. If I take a look over here, mnum equals to 1, or first month. Then the month name equals to what? Equals to the January. Now to set my tutorial, I use the Google to get the month names from the January up to the December and put it over here. And also I can come to this and resize it up to here. Let's do it one more time. Correct. Up to this one. Now let's select the Visual Studio and dock to this side. So this is my first one, and I can easily come over here, and this is the January. This is the January. Copy and paste it over here. And after that, let's copy this part, and this is the result, the second one. And if I take a look, it is February. So let's copy and paste over here. The next one is number 2. I can copy this one up to 10 times for all of the months. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and the 12. Now let's start and let's select this and outside that. Now I have the January, the February, and this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and finally I have the 10, 11, and 12. So let's select this and delete that because we don't need that. Now let's scroll up and start from the March, the second month, March, and paste over here, and also the April, paste it here, and the May. This is the May. To start my tutorial, I stopped the recording later to copy all of this over here. Stay with me. Welcome back. Now I successfully added the appropriate month name for each month number. Also, I have fixed the second one and changed it to the February, then the March. And if I scroll down, I have all of this: October, November, and the December. So I have the month name, and it's time to show it to the user. Now let's say message box. This is the message box dot show. And after that, if I add the parentheses, I can say month name is colon and the space. So I'll come over here and this one. Now if I run, I can see the result. Also, if you fix this message, you need to use the startup value, right? Something like this and this one. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. So let's add 12, and this is the result. Let's uncheck this checkbox, continue, and it is December. Month is December. And also for the 13, let's check the result. So this is month name is nothing, and it's a really great idea to add the default value for this, the month unknown. So it is unknown. If I haven't anything, or if all of these if structures are false, then show the month name, and by default the month name is unknown, and you can see the unknown over here. Now let's start and let's see the result. Now let's come over here and write 13 and is unknown. And also let's try something like this, and the month name is unknown. If I write the correct one, this is the December or the number 1. My name is January, or the 0, so my name is unknown. It's really simple and straightforward. Okay, I enjoyed a lot. Now we learned how to work with the multiple if structure. It's really practical and amazing. The next step is time to start working with the select case. So I have the select case over here, and you come to this one and the select case. The select case is something like the multiple if structure, but the definition of the select case is different. It's time consuming, so let's talk about it in the upcoming tutorial. Thanks and thanks goodness. Hi, welcome. In this video, I want to show you how to easily start working with the select case in the VB.NET. So let's begin. First, we talked about how to design this application. And if I take a look, I have the converter to convert the month number to the month name. So we added up to 12 different if structure over here to identify and convert the month number to the month name. But it's not really great idea to add up to 12 different if structure. We can, instead of that, use the select case. The select case is really simple and its structure is really obvious. So select case, we need to write this exactly, then the value as variable, and it is something like this. Select case and the month number. The month number is the integer and it is the number 2 over here, or you can write anything that you want. So the month number is integer. As the result, I have the case, the first case over here, and this is the integer or number. And if the case is 1, so set the month name to the January. If the case is 2, or if the month number is 2, go ahead and set the month name to the February up to the end over here. And here I have the case else. If in any condition we can't find the month number over here, we have the case else, and the month name equals to unknown. Then end select, you can see it over here. And finally, I have the month name in the message box. So it's really simple and straightforward. Now let's come over here and let's select this and dock it over here. And also this is over here. Let's change it to something else up to here. So let's select this part, great and amazing. Now let's start working with this easily and quickly. So come over here and add another button over here and paste it after that. Show month name by the select case. So come over here and say select case. And after that, the name for that, let's start select case. Select case like this. Now let's start working with it. Click on this, and after that I have the no click event that is generated automatically for my new button. And after that, let's go ahead and let's separate the codes like this. Now if I scroll up, I have the, let's do it over here, the month button click event. So let's go over here, and it is the month name and parse up to here, and also up to this one. If you don't know anything about what I'm doing, it means you need to refer my previous tutorial. So this is the result. Now I have the dim, I have the dim num as integer, and convert the month text box text to the integer and assign it to m num. And after that, I have the month name as a string and it is unknown. So come over here and come to this one and say select, write the select and double press the tab key on your keyboard. So I have the auto-generated select case over here, and I want to work with the month num or number like this. If the month num is case 1, then go ahead and write the codes here. For the number 2, go ahead and write over here. So for the else, I need to write the codes exactly over here. And also let's cut this one because we don't need it anymore. And come over here, great and amazing. Get inside the else structure, and here I can say the month name equals to the unknown. Now it's done, and in the next step we need to assign the month name over here, and after that it is January. So this is the January, and let's copy this, paste it over here, and after that let's say case 3, case 4, case 4, case 5, case, the next one is 6, case 7, case 8, case 9, case 10, case 11, case 12, and everything is done. Now let's go over and copy this one and add over here for this, and also this one, and for all of these one by one, and the night. So let's go over here, the next one, and next one, and if I take a look over here, the next one, 9, 10, 11, 12, and the case else. So come over here and let's start the January. The February is 2. This is the February, and also I have the March. Let's copy the March, paste over here. Then April, the number 4, the April, the number 5, May is the number 5, the number 6, June, up to this one. And after that, July, number 7, you can see the number 7, July, and the August. August is the number 8. And after all of this, I have the September. So copy and paste it over here, the 9. And also I can select this and delete the code. So I have the September over here. The next one is October. So let's copy this, and October number 10. Paste it over here. And after that, I have the November. Paste it over here, the November. Then the December. And let's copy and paste it over here, the December. So all of the required codes are done from the January, February up to the case else unknown. And after the end case, add some comments like this, and it looks better now. And also this one. So it's time to show it to the user. It's really simple. And let's say forward, come over here, copy this part, and paste it over here. After the end, select and paste over here. Now month name is month name. So let's save everything and let's set it back up to here because I don't need to do that anymore. Now if I run, I can see the great and amazing result. Well done. Now let's go over here and add, for instance, 12 and select case. The month name is December. And also if I use, for instance, 13, so the month name is unknown. And also it's a really great idea to add the breakpoint over here and check the steps one by one and take deeper inside the codes. So select case. Now I have the mnum, it is 13, and it is converted from the text of the month text box. And after that, go to the next line. This is the result, the step over. So the case else is this one. Then show it to the user. And this is the user. Now let's come over here and add another one. For instance, number 1. So select case. This is the number 1. Then go to the case 1. The month name is January. And show it to the user. and month name is January. Well done, now we learned many great tips and tricks about how to replace the select case with the multiple if structures. It's really practical and time saver method. Go ahead and open up your project and start working with the select case. Thanks and thanks goodness.